Never let them know your next move.
I'm gonna need more. It's not cutting it. It's not enough.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Wilson Way Sports Talk. Looking forward to talk about more basketball today. Obviously, the NBA Finals Game 3 reaction. About to give y'all, man. If you want to see game 2 reaction, check out my man chilling with Dylan, his YouTube channel as well. But without further ado, gentlemen, what's going on?
Brother Phil,
What's
thank you.
up?
Thank
How
you.
we doing?
Yes, sir, man. Hey, had
Back.
a, had a crazy game 3. Pacers got it done. Uh, by far, I would say the best game in the series. I would say because from an overall competitive standpoint, Pacers got it done 116-107 in Indiana, up 2-1 in the series. I just want to get y'all quick initial reactions.
You want to go first, Tyrell, or you want? What's up?
I'll let Dill go first.
Gotcha.
All right. Cool. Appreciate you. Well, my first reaction was consistency. The Pacers have been a model of consistency this playoffs. A very interesting stat that when doing research and really recapping the game that I found very interesting was the fact that the Pacers have played with the same starting lineup every game of the playoffs. Success leaves clues. When you are constantly maintaining the foundation that you've already built, it's going to produce, it's going to bear. And for the Pacers, for them, it's been the great chemistry. It's been the great ball movement. It's been the suffocating defense. It's been the relentless drive. Regardless, yesterday's game was full of a lot of highs. It was full of highs and lows. You know what I'm saying? There was parts of the game where the Pacers did look like they were going to get ran out their own building. But they kept fighting. They kept staying in the thick of it. They also showed the value of depth. You know what I'm saying? Having the guys off the bench, guys like who I talked about, Benedict Mathurin, TJ McConnell, played a huge role in injecting energy, injecting life into the court. And a very interesting stat too. Before I'm gonna let Tyrell come in, so I don't want to hog all the attention. But Indy was 0-3 coming into Game 3. In every series that they had been in previously, they lost in Game 3. OKC was 1-2. Now both teams are 1-3. Some crazy stat, but it just goes to show you, right? It goes to show you how the optic is not always what it appears to be. And Indy winning this game 3 after you and I, Phil, had talked about it's likely going to be split. But them winning before OKC wins to go up 2-1, that gives them the momentum that they were looking for coming out of game 2. And that's going to help them immensely going into game 4 because now they might be able to go up 3-1. And once you go up 3-1, unless you got a LeBron James type of player, it's going to be hard to come back.
Nah, I agree. Honestly, like you said, like I only seen them use like certain amount of lineups, and honestly, like that comes predictable. Like we all know that. Like we play basketball. Like we watched the game for years, and honestly, like they already like slipped up with game 1. They came back dominant. Talking about the Thunder, they came back dominant game 2, and then like they really just like kind of like gave it away in game 3. So like being down 2-1, you're on the road. It almost makes it like hard right now for you to try to get that win because even though you are going back home, you still have to factor in like, all right, like we still have to make the adjustments. Tyrese Halliburton, like we seen, like he's being aggressive. You got TJ McDonald, like he's picking up. I mean McConnell, like he's picking up like full court. So it really comes down to like what's the young coach's name again with the Thunder?
Mark Dagno.
Yeah, Mark, like he's gonna have to really like kind of like reach in his bag and really like start coaching because right now like the experience it was on the Thunder side. Like they got Alex Caruso has a ring, but now you're actually looking at like a Pacers team like they lost in the Eastern Conference last year. They overcame that. Now they're playing like, all right, this might be like our only like shot at this title. Remember the 2021 Bucks?
Yep, absolutely.
That was their only shot. So when you look at the Pacers right now, like I feel like them going into game four, like they're looking to put this away. Like they're already at home. They already got the momentum. Right now, if they can get the same production from their bench, I mean, that's gonna be huge. But
I'm saying
It's
we're gonna talk
scary.
about it later. But with Shea going like scoreless, and I mean not scoreless, but like he was held to single digits in crunch time, like that's gonna be tough. Like if they're gonna get the same production like that, I mean they're gonna have to look for Chet, they're gonna have to look for J Dub, they're gonna have to look for other resources if Shay's not gonna rise to the MVP caliber that he is.
Absolutely, y'all made some great points. I kind of want to piggyback kind of off what I said in Game Three. Now, I did pick the Thunder to win Game Three, but I did say also that they're going to split. So I'm not too off track. So for y'all that got mad at me for picking that -5.5 spread or -5 spread for the Thunder, don't get too mad. Don't trip. Now for Game
yeah,
Three, I also did say, but I also did say for the Pacers now. For the Pacers to win, I did say that they should treat this like it's a must-win game, like it's a desperation game. Even though obviously going into Game Three was tied 1-1. You're at home. No, but Thunder are that elite team, all time great team. You need to go in like you're desperate. I was speaking directly to Halliburton in that case, who actually showed up. That gave what we need to do. I said for the in our first finals preview, I believe we did. I think it was in your channel, chilling with Dylan. I believe one of the main things I said was for the Pacers to win the series, if not even win multiple games in the series. I got the Thunder winning in 6. For that to happen, Halliburton has to be the engine. He can't come
Yeah,
around the screen, looking to pass and want to just be overall a passive player. Because at the time, him
right.
being passive, he wasn't even getting many assists anyway. You know what I'm saying? So be aggressive, take good quality shots, and then you see what happened. He was the engine of his offense. Almost had a triple double, 22 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. That's what he needs to do every game. This type of energy is what really got them going. Besides, obviously, Benedict Mathurin off the bench, that's when the Pacers are really at their best when he's aggressive. Because again, now I remember the stat. I think at the time was I believe 7-1 when Tyrese Halliburton scores 20 points or more. I believe now it's 8-1 because they won Game 3. So I'm like I say, if you get an aggressive Halliburton, obviously you also see what Pascal gave you because he's been there before. He's a guy in the finals who's never nervous. He'll come to play. He bounced back from a kind of a subpar 3-11 shooting performance in game 2, and Oklahoma City bounced back. So that's going to be an ultimate test for me as far as like, okay, Halliburton, we know what you can do, but don't just have a game where you do it, you get it done. What are you going to do next? Because we know, say on Shake's side, you mentioned Shea Gilgeous didn't have a great game. We know it's a real superstar like that. Not to get into those superstar conversation, but just we know a guy like Shea, MVP caliber player, obviously one MVP, he's gonna bounce back. I mean, 24 points isn't even I would say a bad game, but just the fact that a guy as great as him has been on such a tear. 24 points is like really 24. You've been dropping 34
Right,
past 2 games. Where you at, Shay? You know what I'm saying? Even though also
right.
Williams and Chet also showed up. Finally, we need more of that to be consistent for the rest of the series. I love to see them be consistent. But really, the biggest standpoint I think I want to see also for next game is also for defensively. Can the Pacers have a level of defensive performance like they did in Game 3? That was something we didn't expect. We talked about this. I know I did. As I highlighted how good the Thunder defense is. Their rotations, their perimeter defense, and interior defense. How they really can lock you down. You know, but for the Pacers, they defensively outplayed the Thunder by a large margin. With steals, blocks, turnovers, all game they was shut down. So if Pacers can give you that level of performance, you might be looking at them as champions. I'm still sticking with my Thunder and 6 prediction for now, but we gotta let things play out. Again, I got Thunder winning Game 4, moving forward, but still, it makes me a little nervous right now. I ain't gonna lie.
it's looking a little rough. You
I mean,
mentioned to piggyback very quickly. Um, the turnovers. Turnovers were huge, and the turnovers was also while they were while in the fourth quarter. They were a lot more reckless with the ball. They got outscored 32-18, and they shot 35%. Those are
Yeah,
those are key ingredients to lack of success. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
mm,
And Shea was only able to get one bucket with
mm,
6 turnovers. He didn't have a horrible game, but he just never looked comfortable. It looked
yeah,
like
not this either.
it
I was
looked
gonna
like it was so hot
I
and
was
cold.
gonna nah, like to piggyback on what you were saying, like Shea only getting 3 points. We gotta credit Indiana's like pick and roll defense. and the
Yeah.
full court pressure.
They're
Like
underrated.
those were the keys. Like we were saying before, I think I said it when I was last on with you guys in game one. Like even though like the Thunder are like very over like stacked with the offense, it's really gonna come down to like Indiana really like digging deep, like playing gritty defense. And that's why I was upset I didn't get to get on with you guys like the last two times because I'm like, like, yeah, like I want to definitely follow up on that. So yeah, like if they could do that like more often, Shay, it's gonna be a long series. Shoot,
Okay.
not even long, short.
Here.
I mean, that kind of brings me to my question. I want to ask y'all that I had in my notes was, do you think the Pacers have found that winning formula with how they play the game? Do you think that's something that they can build off of for the rest of the series and potentially have a crazy
Um,
exit?
Not to be funny, I seen somebody had said like Caitlin Clark was at the game and like that served as like a good luck charm. So
Undefeated when she shows up.
Yep,
Absolutely.
they are.
yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that.
they know something like that. Yeah.
But I mean, in the test to that, like Coach Carlisle, he said it, we need everybody every day. This is
Mhm.
what we have to do. Like just praising like the collective contributions. Like if you get Obi top and like run in transition, like we talked about, like that's the only way they're gonna really get their points. You got him flying around. It's just like, I mean, the more the merrier. And I mean, Shay even talked about it, like they're high on the pick and rolls. Like he's at least he's being accountable like for his struggles. But like, yeah, like if he's like acknowledging it, then I mean, like you're not gonna complain or like talk about it if like they ain't doing nothing to make you uncomfortable. And like Shay's been on record to say like I can get a bucket on anybody, like at any
Anytime.
time. So now you gotta get a bucket. You the MVP.
Get it done.
You do. Big time players make big plays. I mean, currently, right now, NBA.com just released a um, kind of a leaderboard for who's going to be most likely to get Finals MVP.
Mhm.
And right now, Halliburton is at number one. He's been averaging 18 a
Wow.
game, 7 boards, 8 assists. SGA,
Nice.
32, 6, and 5. Those are insane numbers. On the efficiency, I'm saying 48%, 45 from three, 90% from the free throw line. I mean, those are ridiculous numbers, but you have to get it done. And the biggest thing that I think about is that OKC is potentially shrinking from the moment with this overthinking because if I'm a team that wins 68 games and I win it with a particular lineup, guess what I'm not doing? Deviating from the formula. I'm
Mhm.
not
Right.
going to a different lineup suggestion. I think about, for instance, now this is a slightly different situation because they didn't really have a chance, but the Magic in '09. Phil, I know you remember this finals.
Yes, absolutely.
They had Rafer Alston as their starting point guard. That was a
Yep.
big reason why they made it all the way to the finals.
Cooking.
But then Jameer Nelson gets
Came
back.
back.
Jameer Nelson had been an all-star that year. Jameer Nelson had been a part of the Magic since they brought in Dwight Howard. So it made sense. But in moments, you gotta ride the hot hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what
Yeah.
your pedigree is. If I got a guy who is playing well and you're coming off an injury, you gotta just eat that. You gotta be okay with in this moment. If you show that you're back at full strength, cool. But if not, we got to go with the hot hand. Well, think about the Niners, right? When
Yep.
Alex Smith went down, Colin Kaepernick came through and went on a tear. They go all the way to the Super Bowl, and they only lose by a field goal. They might not get there if they relied on, oh Alex, nah, just go out there. No. So this is why that next man up mentality is so huge in sports, and it's different with OKC because you have nobody hurt. There's nobody injured. Why are you
Right.
selling yourself out of what works? You want to know why they won game two? Because they had Hartenstein out there. He added a defensive presence, a rebounding presence, and he's a very good passer for his position. He's one of the best passing big men that does not get brought up, but he's a great passer at the position. If I'm OKC, I'm watching film of Chet, who started off great. He started off hot. Towards the end of the game,
Good game.
Miles Turner was bullying that man. It was like versus Ray.
Barbecue chicken.
You want some of this? No. That's everybody else in OKC. Meanwhile, Chet is getting thrown around there like a rag doll. Chet is a skinny guy. I'm a skinny guy too, Chet. You can't fight that and win that alone. So you need to have your muscle out there. You need to have somebody who's going to be able to counteract and supplement you in the area that you lack. And you have those two players together. They play extremely well off one another. You got the inside game with Hartenstein. You got the outside game with Chet. Chet can block. Chet gets a lot of shot blocking opportunities. So does Hartenstein. So they still both are adding to the defensive value. You want to go to, people, because I saw people saying, is this OKC team defensively there with the Pistons of 04? No. That's crazy talk. That's prisoner of the moment talk.
Yeah,
they don't allow that anymore. That level of
defense. But think about it, right? Template-wise, as a team, right? They had
a 6'8" center.
They had Ben Wallace at center, and they had
a 6'8" center.
Who was a dog who, like, at his height was playing like he was 7 feet. So, I'm not saying that Hartenstein.
Not to cut you off, Dill. I just want to tag in, like, when we talked about Ben Wallace, because we got to give Ben Wallace his flowers while we're on here, because, like, that's a under, like, size big. Like, that was a legend. Out of the 96 class too, undrafted.
Yep. One of the greatest undrafted players.
Yes, like, did you guys see that, like, compilation like a couple days ago? Like him just like blocking everything.
Oh yeah,
somebody like doing a voiceover.
Yeah,
that thing had me laughing for like days.
Was one of the most feared players and one of the most dominant defensive players that we'll ever see. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not saying Hartenstein is at that level. That Chet is Rasheed, but in the particular role that the OKC has, that's a similar type of value that
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Chet being the floor spacer, but can still play defense like Rasheed, and then Hartenstein being the interior presence down low. So if I'm Shea, I'm MVP. I'm a scoring leader, first team All NBA. I had one of the greatest seasons in recent memory. As the leader of the team, I'm going, coach, stop overthinking. Stick to what you know and execute. That's all. We can win this series still. Okay, because mind you, this was a very close game. It was a very close game that it wasn't until like 5 minutes left for the fourth quarter that Indy was able to shift the energy over. But before that, it was very fourth. It was like two boxers going at it. So the only way that they're going to be able to unmitigate the wrongs that they had committed with this game is stop putting Case and Wallace out there. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish. Love the young brand, great young talent, but he is not cutting it. He is not. Get him up out of there. Put Hartenstein in. Make your life simpler and easier. I just had to get that. I had to get that off my chest. I had to say,
nah, you good, family. I actually wanted to like piggyback on that, if you don't mind, Phil.
Yeah, bro.
I was gonna ask like two things. I'm talking about Shea. Like, and I just want you guys to understand, like, I'm not like against like OKC or anything, but I just feel like Indy, like, they play the type of brand of basketball I like. So, and Rick Carlisle, he's one of them OG coaches. When we talk about Ben Wallace, he built the '04 Pistons. And I mean, like, he did dethrone like LeBron's first chip with the Heat. So it was just like one of those things where, like, I just wanted to ask, so if Shea doesn't bounce back early, like, path quickly narrows, key question, like, can he snap free? That's all I want to know.
You want to take that one, Dylan?
And like, if you want me to go into like depth, so you can like answer like more like in depth, like, can he reset, or like will Indy's like schemes prevail?
Good question.
I'll answer that too.
Good question. I'll take a stab at it. I think honestly, Shea is a talented enough player, and the moment has not seemed too big for him.
Mm-hmm.
I have complete confidence that OKC, win or lose, Shea is going to be playing at a high level. Like, I think this is going to be the quote unquote worst game.
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
he
say
has.
it.
But overall, I think Shea is a lot to have big games every time. It just matters about, can you get your shot in the half court when the pick and roll isn't working? Can you get your shot in the half court when you can't draw fouls? And when they're on the other end running nonstop rampant. And right now, the coaching clinic that Carlisle is putting on, it's testament to who he's been as a coach all these years, the type of coach that he's able to be, and the way that
Yep.
he gets the most out of every roster. I was reading someone say that Rick Carlisle coaches like he's coaching like an all-star team or Olympic team. Like everybody has an opportunity to be the guy at different moments, any night. And
Absolutely.
and that plays a big role because versus OKC, we talked about this, three of us. We had said that J Dub and Chet are very talented, but it still doesn't feel like they're there yet to the level of where SGA is at. So you're having to rely and hope that they take that leap, they take that step, but there's no guarantee. Versus with Indy,
Okay.
because they have all that depth and they don't have necessarily, they're not necessarily set to like, okay, this one guy has to go off in order for us to win. That allows for everyone on the team to do their part equally and shine and go off. But that's the value of a coach like Carlisle, because he did have a one type of player that could do that in Dirk in Dallas, but at the same time, that 2011 Dallas team got huge contributions from Sean Marion, Jason Kidd, JJ Barea, Jason Terry, even even Corey Brewer and Brian Cardinal played valuable minutes. You know how good of a coach you have to be to get contributions from the end of your bench to the point of like, yo, this is the 15th man on the team. That's the level though of coaching that Carlisle has brought so far in this finals. And you knew that after the type of game they had in game two, they weren't gonna on their home court, they were not going to come out there with the same approach. If I'm Coach Dagenau, I gotta take cues and study what is working against me, and then also look at what is working. How do we maintain? Because we're starting off hot, we're building momentum. But when the game wears down, that fourth quarter comes around. You know the Houdini-esque run that this Pacers team is on. They're like the Hoosiers out there. How do we make sure that we don't let the underdog, the tortoise? How do we not let them beat us at our own
I was
game?
actually just about to. I was actually about to say that too. Like, I mean, shoot, they kind of flipped like OKC's bench. Like, they
Mhm.
out here like they on a 49-18 run right now. Like, it's kind of insane. But like, yeah, like I think the Thunder, like, if they gonna respond, they gotta risk their depth. Like,
They do.
that's like the deciding factor right now. Like, you gotta trust your young players. Like, and honestly, it's kind of funny, like when you think about that, because like that's honestly what they're known for right now. Like, they're not supposed to be here. Like, explore. Like, you probably
Mhm.
gonna be back in like a year or two, probably next year. Like,
But who knows?
yeah, yeah, like I
Today's
got the
NBA, you
formula.
never know.
But yeah, you know the NBA, like as soon as you lose, they want to just break it up.
Yep.
Yep. And now with the
Like, mind you, like you know it just worked. Like, let me chill. Like, we young. Like, we weren't supposed to be here. Let us run
Yeah.
it back. Nah, nah,
But
nah,
let me
nah.
let me answer your point about Shea. Shea, I'm not worried about him. I mean, for me, I want to see really it's like okay, Shea gonna bounce back. Really, what I'm worried about, with trusting Shea, can other guys come with him? As far as like you got Chet who dropped 20 points, Jalen Williams who had his best, also had his best game in the finals, 26. I want to see can all three of those guys play at their best at the same time.
that's
'Cause
what
that's really
Late,
what we haven't
late
seen.
game too.
Late,
Late game
especially
too.
late game. That's how I want to see. So
yeah,
like with Shea gonna bounce back. We know superstars. They don't have two bad games in a row. That's what Shaq always says. Great players don't have two bad games in a row. Even though I wouldn't consider this necessarily a bad game, but by Shea's standards, not his standards. Is what we say,
yeah,
right? So he's gonna
yeah.
bounce back. I would say definitely. I'm looking for 30 plus from him easy. But on the other end, okay, who we looking at to give that outside offense from there? Chet, is it going to be Chet, Jalen? Cruz had 20 points in game two. Off the bench is going to be very key because we know Benedict Mathurin. Shout out to him cooking. I think Carlisle is gonna again take advantage of that matchup
27?
because nobody in 22 minutes, nobody can really stop us. I think
Nine to
Carlisle will give
12.
you leeway. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be something to watch out for. But really, I want to see, with this game 4, obviously you expect them to play desperate. You can't go down 3-1 going back into OKC. But it's like, okay, Shea gonna show up. Who gonna be with me for this game 4?
I think
And that's
Chet will show up, J-Dub too, but like we talked about, like can't just beat them three. And
Absolutely.
I don't know if Dylan talked about it earlier, but they had 19 turnovers.
Crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, you ain't never gonna win a game like that.
Not on the
no,
road. Not on the road.
no.
Pacers found away with 25. Hey, that was random.
That does not. That is the exception to the rule.
Super outlier.
You normally you turn the ball over 25 times.
It's a wrap.
You lost. You done lost.
Yeah, easily.
I got
But
another spicy
I
question if
think
y'all want.
Go ahead.
go ahead, throw it out.
Let's get it.
I think Dylan will love this one a lot. Like, so Pacers got momentum, right?
Yes, for sure.
Clearly got the home court edge. They got a game on the road and at home. Thunder only got a game at home.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't won on the road yet. And if y'all remember that Denver series that I talked about before, like when Shea gets harassed a lot, like,
Oh
yes,
yeah,
he'll
yeah.
show up, but I mean, 26 points or whatever on like 30 shots, that's not efficient. So I would just say like psychologically, like Pacers win, like what do you think that does to like the Thunder morale? Because like I feel like America right now, like they're just saying like, all right, yeah, Thunder's gonna win. Like
Yeah, it's kind of a
analysts are just
sleepy.
saying like, yeah, like everybody's like expecting like a 7 game or a 6 game series, but nobody really talking about like remember how like the remember how the Mavericks beat like the Heat and like I'm not mistaken, like that went to 6, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
2011. Yeah, game 6. Yeah.
11 went to 6. Mm-hmm.
All right. So remember when they came back the next year, LeBron beat the young Thunder like
Mm-hmm.
4-1?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Remember they were been saying like history repeats itself, like this is a young core, this is the same young core that was with like I mean the same core as James Harden, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. I just feel like if they win this game, I don't really think like the young core can like really like psychologically like come back from like this. So I just want to
Mm-hmm.
hear from both of you guys like how y'all feel
Interesting.
like them because they get to go home now. But at the end of the day, like dang, like we lose, like we staying here. So yeah, I just
Well,
want to hear like you
you
guys.
I'm about to say, Phil, you might, you look like you have something ready. So go
I,
ahead.
That's big because psychologically, I mean, they're so young. I mean, it really depends. I mean, to me, I don't worry as much about the players themselves as more as like how is the organization going to respond? Because like with the second April, it's like it's like, oh, can we win with this unit? Can this guy worth this contract to lead us into the future with the level of success we want? Can that happen? So I don't really worry as much about the players. The players going to go bounce back strong, even if say they did lose this finals. I think. Again, I think if you would have kept James Harden together, even though he wanted his own team, if you would have kept that big three of KD, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, there's no way they don't win a championship in my eyes. So that's just how I see it. As far as that unit, that team, if they stay together, even if say the Thunder don't win this year, the Thunder are definitely going to win with the unit. I think they have a championship core. That's how I see it.
I 100% agree with Phil. I was reading an article today that talked about Giannis as a potential possibility, and then basically pulling a Warriors in 2016 after an embarrassing loss, calling Giannis up and be like, "Hey, we need your services over here," and then putting together, a good trade and all that. And I feel like OKC has so much talent that they can utilize now and win with. But the youth at play, lack of experience, it is showing right now. And psychologically, that does have an impact. I do believe that at some point, KD, Harden, and Westbrook would have won a finals. But I also thinking about there is possibility that they might not have. Like it's crazy to say out loud because we're thinking these three guys were all MVPs. They've all were number one players. But all three players had different issues that caused them to have some struggles as a number one. I think if you want to like dissect it, you know what I'm saying? With KD is one of the most talented players we'll ever see, a top 5 scorer. But there are moments of time where he as a number one, he doesn't shy away from it, but it's not his forte to be like the leader. He's your number one scorer.
Yeah,
different thing. Westbrook, with Russell Westbrook, sometimes his issue was he was too aggressive. He wanted it so bad, but he would force it. And then with Harden, it was like, I don't want the moment at all. I don't want the responsibility.
I'm gonna sit this one out.
It's kind of comparable if you think about it to. There is some similarities in because we talked about this amongst ourselves of like Shaq talking about the difference of Kobe, Penny, and D. And like with Westbrook, you can see like there's that Kobe quality of like I want to win so bad, but sometimes it's going to come at the cost of what we're trying to build here. With Harden, it's like the Penny of like it's not necessarily my lane, it's not necessarily my thing. You know, and I will give Penny a bit more credit because Penny had injuries that stopped him. Harden, a lot of his stuff was self-inflicted. No diss to him, but just got to speak objectively to their careers. And to be fair to Penny, giving what he wanted. But then with KD, it reminds me a lot of D Wade of like, you know what I'm saying? I like KD showed in 2017 and 2018, and then 2019 by almost coming back from an injury and almost getting the Warriors to win, even after they had just lost Clay in that finals. It's there. It's just all about getting it out there. It's all about like he needs to be like, you know, pushed and nudged. With this current Thunder team, I don't know who fits what. It's too soon to tell with them. And right now, the difference is that they were kind of all step for step going with each other. But as we talked about, there is a gap and a divide between SGA, J-Dub, and Chet. And it's a significant one. So I say all this to say, psychologically, the biggest impact that it would likely have would be on J-Dub and Chet. But then that makes questions get asked. Do we move them? Because like you have to think in this way. You have to think of worst come worst. Like if worst come worst, we lose, but we have a chance of getting a Giannis, or we have a chance of even bringing KD back. I've heard people talk about that as a potential, right? Do we take that opportunity while their value's at their highest? Because what's to say that they don't, because of the psychological impact of this, what's to say they don't start trailing off? While SGA is still playing at a high level, they're over here going falling down. I'm not saying that's likely to happen. I think the biggest difference is the coaching culture. I love Scott Brooks, but I think Daigneault is a better coach, X and O's wise. But as a player coach, Scott Brooks was one of the best in his time. So
yes, sir.
You know, you have to look at things in that regard. You have to look at things in that perspective. And to go back to this team, I'm not worried about SGA. We know SGA is a superstar. The world needs to know about how talented SGA is. And I'm glad that at least at this stage, people are now going, okay, I'm finding out who this Shai Gilgeous-Alexander guy is. This Canadian dude who's out here hitting these mid-ranges like an early 2000s player. But J-Dub and Chet, are they there yet? Can they ascend to that level of a Westbrook and a Harden? We have to see. And this is ultimately, we talked about pressure. Who are you when the pressure is tight with your back against the wall? We were just talking about that. That's the kind of question that needs to be posed to those two. Who are you two?
Yeah.
Because so far I've seen from Shai, I ain't worried about Shai. Shai is going to be all right. Shai is going to be fine. Shai is going to continue to keep it getting better. That's what makes it scary. But what are y'all two doing? Because you don't want him to keep getting better and ascending, and then that time is getting wasted because y'all are not up to par. Y'all are not able to level up.
I kind of brings a very good question. So let's say going into game 4, we talked about how we all agree Shai's gonna bounce back. Shai's gonna be big time performance after having not his best performance in game 3. I would say in game 3, who do you expect again outside of Shai to show up for the Thunder? I mean, game 4, excuse me.
Go ahead, Tyrell.
Who
I
your line
think
outside of Shea?
honestly, I feel like it's gonna be Hart. Like if you guys seen like when he gets that ball to the elbow, like Hart, I always try not to like bring like race or anything into it, but I just feel like Hart, like he played in New York, like he understands the moment. Like every time he gets the ball, I feel like he's just gonna turn, put that left hook up, swish. Like I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've really seen anybody really like stop it, and he's not even doing nothing crazy. Like he's really just like it goes right in, and he's like 7 foot, so yeah, like that's just ease. So I mean, they might get away from like that's if they get away from the pick and roll, but I
Mm.
mean, yeah, like Shea, like no lie, like he gotta start looking like he a bucket getter. Like stop running behind the screen, like kill who's in front of you. Like I mean, get back to the basics. Like take advantage of that lead foot. Like you see that thing high, go to the other side. Once you get them shifted, cross over, step back, like. Just get your buckets, man. Like you say you're not a free throw merchant, like you don't need the free
He
throw,
need
get a
help though.
bucket.
He need help though. That's why I say who outside of
But
him should we trust?
yeah, so outside of Shea, I mean, yeah, like I just say Hart, you feel me? What about you,
Harden.
Dill?
Okay. I mean, I'm not mad at that because, again, game 2, night and day difference. Hartenstein out there, diving for loose balls, contesting the paint, making passes that, someone at his size shouldn't be doing, being a pick and roll threat. I think that I think a player that's a X factor is going to be Lou Dort. Lou Dort started this
I was
game.
gonna say Lou.
Lou Dort started the game. I've been in Rochester too long. I said started. But Lou Dort started the game hot, right? Made 3 threes in the first half. Only finished with one more make after that, right?
12
Lou
points.
Dort, as a defender, was a big reason why in game 2, Halliburton was not comfortable. Neesmith was not shooting the ball well, right? And then the 3-point shooting ability in the first half had OKC up, had them comfortable. They're going to need the consistency from Lou Dort because right now with the Pacers, with it kind of being like it's anybody's turn to shine, it's anybody's turn to produce. You don't know who's going to have that big game, but you have to be prepared for everybody to potentially have a game. Because what's to say someone like a Andrew Nemhard doesn't like have a huge game, like because he's played well, he's played incredibly well, but what's to say he doesn't have a huge game? What's to say a guy like Ben Shepherd doesn't have a huge game? What's to say
Neesmith.
What's to say right Neesmith?
Yeah.
We haven't seen Neesmith have the games like he had against the Cavs and the Knicks yet. So what's to say he doesn't go off? Miles Turner did not shoot the ball well, but he had 5 blocks. What's to say
Yeah,
that
that is
these
the
guys that are so unexpected? Because we know like Pascal has played really well so far. He's averaging 18 a game, 8 boards, and 4 assists. He's played incredible. We know that him and Halliburton, the responsibility, the weight, it's going to be on them too. But what's to say with these other guys in the support? We saw what Benedict Mathurin did. What's to say he doesn't continue to play it like at that? Because he's the only other shot creator that they have outside of Tyrese and Pascal and Nemhard. And I would argue if we're just going pure ability of like roll the ball the court, 5 dribbles and let's give me a bucket. I say Benedict is the best player in that regard. The Pacers.
I like that.
By far. No diss to Halliburton, no diss to Pascal or Andrew. They're all very talented players. They all can go get a bucket. But if I said I'm a coach and I'm like, again, roll the ball out to you, 5 dribbles or less, get a bucket, I'm picking Mathurin. So the key for the Thunder is who is going to be that unsung hero? Who is going to be the other guys that show up? We saw Aaron Wiggins show up big in game 2. We saw Isaiah Joe, right? We've seen the other guys. And maybe it's a case in Wallace. Maybe I really hope Dagonoff doesn't continue to start Casey Wallace. I really hope he's not that stubborn and that prideful. But who knows with some of these coaches? But what's to say, right? That isn't a difference maker if Casey Wallace doesn't go out there and play, out of his mind. But if I'm OKC, that's the question I'm asking. Who else is going to step up? And my money right
Gotta
now,
see it.
right? I got to see it, but I'm leaning towards Lou Dort. I'm leaning towards Alex Caruso, him having championship experience. I'm leaning towards Hartenstein. Would love to see Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah Joe or Kaysen, but I don't know yet because of their age and because of their inexperience.
I like that. And then kind of flipping back to the Pacers side, I mean, we always bring up Halliburton again with the big time performance that he had. I would say number one main question I want to ask you: do you think he's going to follow up with another high caliber performance like he did, if not, even better performance? And if he does, do y'all believe the Thunder can still bounce back and win?
That's huge right there. We haven't even
I
seen
really feel
Halliburton.
like, yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bill going to take it. Yeah.
now you go, Tyrell. You go.
Nah, you go.
You sure?
Yeah, you already
I'm like,
started.
I got it. My bad.
You good,
I
you
got
good.
a little excited, but all I was going to say is we haven't seen Halliburton at his best. Imagine
Right.
he put up a near triple double.
Mhm.
Imagine he doubles that, right? Imagine if he has another one of those 35 point,
That's what
15
I'm
and
saying.
boards. And a thing that people have not taken into account with Halliburton, he is yet to shoot a free throw this whole entire series.
That's insane.
That is the craziest stat by far. And yet the
Pregame.
as much as the Thunder were called, free throw merchants, they shot under 80% from the free throw line last night. The Pacers shot 86. Free throws win you games. They are literally 3 points. And
3
the fact
points.
that Halliburton was aggressive out there without drawing fouls, imagine what he does if he's aggressive and drawing fouls, and the outside shot is hitting.
See it all the
Halliburton.
time.
So
Nah, yeah, same. Like, I mean, yeah, he's gonna. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he might go for 30. It's easy 15. I mean, I just feel like he knows what he got to do. Like, it's just like with it's like every series he's had so far. Like, at some point, like it just clicks for him. And like, I was watching it the other day. Like, he's the only Olympian right now playing. Like,
mm,
he's the only one that won. Like, that's
point,
still playing. And
point.
LeBron kind of just raved about him the other day. Like, he's just like a great person to be on the team. Like every day, like he came the same way. Like whether he was playing or not, like he was the same way every day. So like you want to like run through a wall for somebody that's like that. Like and Tyrese, like he don't really like get on his team. So I feel like he really like I'm not gonna lie, he might have like experienced that like Reggie Miller, like probably yelled at a couple guys so far, like, hey guys, like I'm and he probably apologized after, like, I'm sorry, I was in the moment, like I didn't mean it. But it just speaks to like the volume of him, like coming out of small school, like low star recruit, went to Iowa State, was on the Kings, got traded for a bag of chips. Sabonis, I mean, but like, I'm not gonna say like Sabonis a bag of chips, but like, I mean, they threw him away. Like they were like, we want Sabonis, like we don't want you. So
They didn't
like,
expect much from him, I feel like. I agree.
right. So like, it's the same thing with the Clippers. Like they wanted Paul George. Like they were like, we'll give you Shea,
As a
and
Lakers fan,
then
I'm proud of
like,
this move. I love it. I'm
nah,
glad
yeah,
you said
like
it.
that's crazy.
Great move.
I mean, it's crazy too, because like if LeBron would have got his way, like everybody says, Darius Garland might have been a Laker.
Mm.
So I mean, it's a conversation for another day. But yeah, like I said, like Tyrese Halliburton, like I feel like he just figured it out. Like each game, like the Cavs, the Knicks. Then I feel like he's just about to like unleash himself. Like, and then on top of that, like I feel like with the Pacers, like. I feel like Pascal, like if you can get at least 30 from two of them, like they're gonna win. But if you can get at least like 30 and 25 from two of them, yeah, they're winning. I mean, shoot, if you get 30 and 20 from both of them, and then like shoot, you get another like 15 to 25 from like three other players. Oh yeah, like it's gonna be hard because I mean, they're just gonna be guarding them full court. they've already seen that they don't like pressure. So yeah, we'll see. Like I just feel like it's gonna come down to like who wants to be a dog, who wants to get a bucket, like who wants to attack early. Like whoever bounces on whoever early is gonna win the game. But I think the Pacers will like take care of it. Like I'm looking at this stat right now. It's like whoever usually goes up 2-1, they got like a
Mhm.
80.5%.
Yep.
So I mean, we will see.
That's kind of how I wanted to use to kind of close this conversation, guys. Is for this game 4, I'm on FanDuel right now. We look at the spread. I love my spreads when it comes to betting.
What's the
You
over?
understand? Who y'all got in this game right now? I think -6 is a little bit much for me. I might have to go against the spread on that. But as far as winning the game,
That's a
I
Thunder.
I got oh yeah -6 Thunder on FanDuel right now. So I was
I
going. I
might
was
take that plus.
same. But
We could
what I was
do.
going
We
to
could
say
do
is
like a little like bet between us three. No money. Like we just do like a light bet or something, like 20 push-ups or something. Like
that's light
So,
work. But now
so
I was going to say for the series, I did say before. I think at the game 2 conversation, kind of preview on game 3. I did say even though I said Thunder will win game 3, you know, I thought Thunder would win game 3. I said that the Pacers will win game 4, and it's probably happened opposite. So I'm gonna stick with that prediction. They're gonna be tied 2-2 after 4 going back to 150 for game 5. So I'm gonna just say, Thunder tied up going back to Oklahoma City. How y'all feel about that? What y'all feeling?
shoot, the way I talk today, I feel like I gotta say Pacers in five.
I ain't mad at that.
But
Pacers,
nah, I said
Pacers if I
I
win in
said
the
Pacers
series,
in I said Pacers in six early. No, I lied. I
you
think I
said
said
Pacers 7.
Thunder.
I thought.
I gotta run it back. I gotta watch the
Something like that,
tape.
yeah. We'll find the clip.
But
Find the clips.
yeah, we can clip it. But nah, yeah, right now, if they get this dub, yeah, it's definitely Thunder in five. Like I cannot see the Thunder
Pacers in
winning
5.
five and then coming back to Indiana,
Mm-mm. Nah,
especially if
that's
Caitlin Clark slide. Like,
oh Lord. Not
I mean, shoot, that might
the
be the
Fever got a road
stat.
game, so they might not. I don't think Caitlin will be there. Even though she's not playing, she's still out with an injury, so she might not be there. Just for the audience, let them know she might not be there because of that.
Copy.
be
And
like,
you
no,
you and you
don't be
know and you
no.
know DJ Hamilton's girl, Paige Beckers, she just had
Mhm.
35 the other night,
Cooking
Page is
fresh
special.
off the concussion.
for sure. Might do a WNBA pop pod sometime. But now,
Word.
who you got dealing with?
I would say honestly, I'm stubborn, so I'm gonna stick with my initial prediction, but it's not looking good right now. But Thunder in
I'm a little
six,
nervous.
I'm getting just a little bit. But I'm not mad either way. This is nice to not have any emotional investment into this finals. I can just watch
Yes.
ball.
Dylan's had a tough year.
So don't do that.
Tell
Don't do
me,
that.
tell me about.
Emotional damage.
Look, man, I had to watch my Yankees pitch like absolute dog. You know what?
Oh
Despite
no, word.
in their bullpen than any other team in the MLB. I had to watch my NFL teams be terrible, my college football team be terrible. Duke lose to Houston. Like
Houston. That
it,
hurt. That
it's
hurt.
been a
That
rough.
hurt.
It's been
That
a
hurt.
rough year for me as a sports fan. So
You
I'm
man got a
just,
crazy collection of teams he's a fan of, though. That's a
I
you
really
man
do.
say I hope y'all heard this. Yankees and Sodas in the same sentence as far as his fandom. That's crazy
Hey,
work.
look, man,
I've never heard
Nah,
that.
yeah.
that's the
No, go ahead. My bad. That threw me
tri-state
off.
New England family tie right there, man. It's deep and embedded into my family. So
Okay, I was like Yankees and
yeah,
Sodas.
there's Yankees fans up east, and there's Red Sox fans out east too. Like it just
Oh Lord.
and Celtics and Knicks.
Nah,
Like
yeah. My man's in high school was a Red Sox fan. I was like, you're weird.
Oh no.
I got some homies who are
A
from
New
either.
York Boston fan though?
Yeah, it's out there. It's out there. Um,
Crazy world.
but yeah, it's been nice to just watch ball without any
For sure.
attachment to it, without any investment. But I'm sticking with my initial prediction only because I'm going off the hope of that Dagonaut is not going to keep psyching himself out. He's not going to keep overplaying his hand and going against what works for him. But if I do see Case and Wallace out there
You gonna crash out?
and Chet at the five, then I've officially at that point I've jumped off the ship of saying Thunder in six, and I'm gonna go Pacers, and I'm gonna go Pacers in 6 of like the fact that just OKC is too talented to lose in 5. But something very quickly I want to bring up: rewatching the Nuggets series. The Nuggets were fully healthy. They just might have beaten OKC, right? They just might have, and there's similar aspects into the play style, but obviously it's different when you have a player like Jokic as like the quarterback of the team versus Halliburton, in terms of like them getting to their shot offensively. But Denver as a team matched up very well versus OKC. Indy matches up incredibly well against OKC. And for OKC, it's like it's like, I'm not advertising this, but it's like you have Quizlet to take a test, and you're like, nope, nope, get that away from me. Get that away from me. I don't know why they're on this righteous grandstand to put Casey Wallace out there and show that Chet can be a 5. Not a 5. He's a 4. He's a power forward. Stop going against what worked. You won 68 games with this particular lineup. Use it or lose it, because you don't have forever with the new CBA. So your window is not as big as you think it is. And I want all teams out there. My own team, Boston, your window.
Maybe Chet doesn't want to guard Pascal.
But here's the thing, too. Pascal hasn't even had that huge game yet. So there's so much at stake for OKC.
I'm just saying, if they trying to use him at the 5 like that, I mean, I'm just saying as an NBA player, like nobody just putting you at the 5. You feel me? Like, I mean, unless you're the Lakers, like, because AD was
our Lakers, but they get the 5. He ain't like that.
So, like, I mean, a young coach at that, like, I get it, you'll listen, but to a certain extent, like, I know you got to be like you said, we won 68 games. Why am I at the 5? Like, what we doing here? Like, we've been going through everybody the whole playoffs. We ain't never had me at the 5. We had me at the 5 for like maybe a couple plays, but like now you got me here like a primary. Like
that does beg a question: Are you losing faith because you bring up this Casey Wallace stuff, and we brought up pretty much the whole playoffs or the whole finals? Are you losing faith in Dagno? You know, is he kind of shrinking under the pressure?
100%.
I mean, I've said this before, like when we were like just talking, like just regularly on FaceTime a couple weeks ago. Remember how he made that timeout? Like he went to signal and Shea was like, no, 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 and the ref caught him, and then they went to the line. I think Aaron Gordon knocked them down, and they ended up losing. Like they were playing the timeout game or whatever. They kept trying to foul.
Right?
Yeah, so I felt like with moments like that, like you never forget, and then like for you to make it out that series and like you kind of starting to have like similar like experiences or like blunders, it's like we know you're a young coach. I mean, this is supposed to happen, like your first series, like finals, like, but you also get 7 games. You also get to go home, sleep it off. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm not no NBA coach, like I'm not no NBA player, so like I don't know, like some of them probably don't sleep. Like, I mean, shoot, like if I'm in the finals, I'm an athlete, like I'm in game mode, especially if I'm getting paid, like I'll sleep later. Like I'm probably in the gym, like as a coach, I'm probably not eating. Like I'm probably watching mad film. And again, like that's why I'm saying like you gotta sleep, you gotta recharge, because like if you're just on go about like your mistakes, like you're not really present to like move on like for the next game. So yeah, to touch your point, like they're not losing faith, but like when you got young players, like at some point, like that seat get hot without you realizing, like they might be like, all right, like we got here, but we didn't have a coach. We got out coached. So like, do they bring somebody in? And again, like that says to you before, like, does that jeopardize the young core? Like, does that make anybody expendable? And I actually got a question to ask after Dylan go.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say like that. You bring up a great point of like that question will be asked. Can you be the one to get the job done? People think about I'm gonna keep going in other sports, but football, right? The Eagles.
Man,
Nick Sirianni was on the hot seat, and not on the usual hot seat, because if we're going off his win percentage, he's got one of the best win percentages of any active coach. But
word.
that question of in the big moment, can you get it done? And there's question about that. There's doubt of your ability because you have this immensely and incredibly talented roster, and yet they're not being utilized properly to the best of their ability. When looking
Exactly.
at OKC, it's very similar. It's very eerie reminiscent. So if I'm OKC, I'm not pushing that type of conversation, but I'm preparing that if we, God forbid, lose, we're going to have a conversation like this because unless
Nah,
something does,
word.
like I hate that, but no, because even as a Celtics fan, right? People were having that question about Joe, his first year as coach. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
He
yeah,
took on
absolutely.
a team that Ime built. He took on a team that Brad Stevens had drafted and developed as well. And he came in, and we were supposed to have been in the finals in 2023. We should have. We would have been. And I mean, I say this with no biasness and no disrespect to Denver, but we would have beaten Denver. We would have beat that team. That team would have for sure beaten Denver. We were healthier. And then the 2024 team, people are not giving us the same respect because of the health of some of the teams that we played against. But still, Coach Missoula still had to climb to that mountaintop and do it, get it done,
No,
win a
overcome.
finals, right?
Yeah, they could never take that away from him.
They,
Mm-mm.
they, they can't, right?
Just
So
like Mike Budweiser.
it's the same. It's the same thing with
I know what I
OKC.
called him. Yeah, I know what I
Buddha.
called. I know what I
I said
called him. I know what I
Buddha
called
hole.
him.
Anyway,
I
it's
know what I
okay.
called him.
I'm gonna let it slide. Go ahead.
No,
Finish up.
So
no, that's what we call him,
Oh, for real? Okay, okay. I was like,
bro.
what do
He
you say?
didn't coach. I'm not trying to be rude. He didn't coach that finals.
Oh, God.
Giannis went Super Saiyan 4.
Let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic.
Nah,
but anyway, so um, for OKC for Dagonaut, right? He is a very bright coach. He's incredibly respected. He was a player coach when he was for the G League team, when he was under Billy Donovan at Florida. Like he has proven his worth. I would hate to see him lose everything that he's been working and building because for whatever reason he cannot get out of his own way. And that's the most frustrating thing about watching this Thunder team is that they have so much talent. They have so much ability, but they're not utilizing it properly. And unfortunately, with the way sports goes, those answers are going to be because if the players are producing or your number one players are producing, you're not asking them tough questions. You're asking who is calling the plays, who is setting the lineups, who is orchestrating all this together. So the seat is going to potentially get warm for Dagnall. It's not going to get hot, but it's going to get warm if they can't get it done. And then given the CBA, you don't have the same windows that you would have had in yesteryears. So it really would put even more pressure if they can't make a big move in free agency and if they can't get back to this level. So this is must-win territory for OKC. I said before that they're going to split, but they need to win and they need to win out the rest of the series. They can if they go to 7 with Indy. I don't trust OKC in a 7-game series. I'm
Even
gonna
at
just say
home?
I
Okay.
don't trust them. No,
Wow.
right
Okay.
now
if they get to 7, they might. They got the home. They got the home court.
they got home court, but I don't trust them just because the wins, so the losses that they had, the 14, they were all in pressure situations. They didn't get blown out much, but most of the losses that they had of the 14,
Mm-hmm.
they were in close games.
The
So I
Pacers
don't
are
Agreed.
trust them. And the Pacers thrive in a close game environment. They want that. They're over there like, yes, we got you right where you want it. We got you right where you want it.
Okay.
So
So
so that's where I don't see it if they can't close them out in 5 or 6.
so
Gotcha.
when you talk about pressure situation, it kind of brings up this question that I wanted to ask because I know like you brought
Yes,
up
question.
before about like KD possibility. So you actually like kind of spoiled that 'cause I was gonna ask that before we got off, but nah, it's cool. It's
My
cool.
bad. I'm
But nah,
serious.
that's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's kind of fun, but yeah, just like I'm gonna read through it, and I just want to hear you guys' takes before we get out of here. But
Sure, sure.
what if the Thunder loses and KD comes over in a trade that doesn't feature SJ or J Dub, but Chet? So
Mm-hmm.
hypothetically, Thunder receive KD, the Suns receive Chet, Lewis Dort, Aaron Wiggins, Nikola Topic, Ousmane Dieng, 2026 first round pick via Utah, 2027 first round pick via Los Angeles Clippers swap rights. Why the trade works? Well, could work.
Mm,
Thunder, they gain a proven pressure scorer, potential championship level player in KD, who could be a first or second option still on the team, depending on Shea's approach. For the Suns, they acquire a young player with upside in Chet and draft picks, and they get to rebuild their roster and continue their pursuit of a championship. Now, the Phoenix Suns have been trying to get out of their salary hold between KD and Bill. So the deal would involve a combination of players and draft picks to match the salaries and make it a feasible trade for both teams.
mm,
The Thunder's future, they're still going to have a talented core, Shea, J-Dub, Hartenstein, Isaiah Joe, etc. And that could pair with KD. And honestly, you just put KD alongside Hart, J-Dub, Shea. Probably bring Isaiah Jones. Yeah, I seen you scratch your head. That's really what it looks like. Like, and then on top of that, you look at it like the Suns, they have a young core. They got draft picks they can build around in the coming years because they really haven't had no draft picks. And then the other considerations, the Suns could also include other players in the trade depending on like the needs and preferences. The Thunder might also consider including additional draft picks and players in to make the trade more attractive for the Suns. But ultimately, the trade will just be like depending on individual needs and preferences of both teams. But overall, AKA bringing KD back home, like letting him kind of pull a LeBron in a sense. Like Tina drafted him, get them a ring, maybe retire. Because KD, I don't think he's gonna retire after getting them a ring, especially with a young core around him. Like I said, pull a LeBron. What are you
mm.
doing in LA? LeBron's around nothing but youth. KD only wants to be around a team that's, or first of all, the organization gonna do well. And mind you, the only reason why he left the Thunder is because they weren't like putting him around players that could get over that hump.
Mm.
And honestly, he didn't really want to leave. It's just he reached his 10 year. He wanted a ring. He did that. Two-time champ, two-time Finals MVP, should have been three-time, but that Achilles. But again, like him coming back home, I just feel like I want to hear y'all take on it.
Real quick, you said they can make that trade and still keep J Dub and Chet.
J-Dub.
They can still keep the three.
So I would say the trade again. Thunder receive KD. The Suns receive Chet, Louis Dort, Aaron Wiggins, Nikola Topic, Ousmane Dieng, a 2026 first round draft pick via Utah, and a 2027 draft pick via Clippers first round.
Man, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like, would you mortgage your future like that for I mean, yeah, I could say it would get you a championship, but like, far as like the long term success, I don't know if the organization makes that pull. Primarily because I think because that they had the breaking up of the big three: KD, Russell Westbrook, and Harden. I think they want to do everything in their power to make sure they keep this current big three together. That's my main hangup of why I don't see that happening. Now, of course, if like hypothetically, if it did, yeah, I think Kevin Durant for sure, KD and Shea together would be a phenomenal duo. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how
Not to mention he'll be 37 at the start of next season.
absolutely, but consider how you can work out the pieces around them, forming the full team with those two guys around them, how that works. For a complement of players, but that's just the main reason. That's my one hangup. Like, okay, I feel like Sam Presti, you know, how great of as a GM as he's been, I think he just wouldn't allow himself to make that same mistake. Like, man, like I had three Hall of Famers, MVPs, all together at one time with the chance to win a championship. It's crazy that we not just only not didn't win one, we didn't even make the multiple finals. So I just can't see him now that he's back in that championship picture. Win or lose of this, finals this year, I can't see him breaking that big three, this current big three up, especially with how young they still are.
I like that. I agree too.
I would
Dill.
I would piggyback off of Phil as well. Just like KD would get them to a ring, and it would be a beautiful way to close his chapter in his Hall of Fame career. Great redemption arc. Love it, love it. But mortgaging your future for a 2-3 year window,
Mm-mm.
it's risky. You know what I'm saying? Look at what the Nets tried to accomplish with KD, Kyrie, and Harden. Right? On
Hmm.
paper, that was a
Good point.
crazy big three, and yet they didn't even make it to a finals. Some people, oh, this could be a topic for another time, feel like the Heatles underachieved. They only won 2 titles. And
Not five,
Absolutely.
not six, not seven. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
remember,
Come on
uh,
now.
not five, not six. That was a big talking point, right? Um, when you have talent that's like at its peaking and it's reaching that level of undeniability, the last thing that you ever want to do is throw a wrench into that plan because it already took a lot to get there. But the only difference in why OKC would not face the same collateral back damage that another team would is because of all those draft picks that they have. They've got more draft capital than any team in the league. Sam Presti has been collecting draft picks like, I'm saying,
Can be
little,
something.
you remember them little box stamp things that
But
no, it was
yeah,
like you cut them off the box, like it'd be
Oh,
like a
yeah.
paper.
yeah,
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, like he collecting them like those. He collecting them like slam magazines growing up. You know what I'm saying? He got a whole catalog. He got a whole assortment. So it would only OKC would be like the ultimate exception of the rule, but you have to see what you can get out of this core first before, in my opinion, you start making those big life altering decisions for your franchise. That's just my personal perspective, and I think very much with Phil of you saying that they already did that once before. They jumped the gun a little too soon. I don't think that they want to repeat history in that way. I think they want to right the wrongs for what they did before.
Absolutely. Well, man, I got any more points y'all want to bring up before I close things out? Y'all good?
Nah, I'm kind of surprised both y'all didn't really bring up like the possibility of if they did it, like, and KD just got injured and like he's like
That
off
too.
to the side.
Yeah.
That too.
It's
And
like, dang, like, and
all
then the
that.
possibility of like the players going off for the Suns and possibly they get to the finals. So yeah, I'm just surprised nobody really went that angle, but
Well,
nah,
just
yeah, I
they
wouldn't
just
even
don't
mind
want the
seeing
Suns where they're at.
Chet and like, I mean, seeing Chet and Dort and Wiggs next to Booker, like. Book wouldn't even really have to like. Book would probably go back to the one.
No, I don't want book. I don't want book playing the one. I don't want
Yeah,
that.
I still want
That's
Bogut.
scary though. That
Mm-mm.
is scary though. Him coming off by high pick and roll. You don't know if he's driving or taking that three. It's almost like Jamal Murray in that thing.
I think the only thing with the Suns is that they still don't know their identity as a team.
At
It's
all.
it's, it's perplexing, but they don't know whether they want to be a run and gun team,
That
uh,
Bill contract is going to hurt for a
ice,
while.
They got to
right?
move.
You know what I'm saying? And that was
They
a
can't
hate,
move him. He has a no trade clause.
and that
Hey, you
was
know
an
how to play.
example. That was
He
an
made
example.
sure of that though, because he knew.
Shout out to his agent, but that was an
Now,
example.
shout out to his agent. Word.
It
That
is
was
bad.
an example of a haste
He
decision, a decision made impulsively. So I think OKC, while
give me them
it would be nice for them publicity wise. It'd be great for the NBA story wise. But as a team fit, you risk so much in the event of that, and you have to ask yourself: is the juice worth the squeeze? If I'm OKC, no. You got something good at home. You don't need to be outside at the club looking for what used to be. Okay, you don't need to go
Oh, man. I agree.
WY. Hey, big head. You don't need to be doing
Don't
all
play
that.
with it.
Be good at home.
That big head just got a Olympic medal though.
Look, right.
Of
Hey,
course. Granted. Yeah.
that's still
He's that
KD.
dude.
And
Like
they Olympian like couldn't get a win.
that's also true. But that's just
He's an
where
international player that can't get a win out there. That does
but
raise questions.
it does raise questions. But you have to look at the fact that he has transformed this franchise to where they're at.
Oh no,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm never
He's
taking that away from him.
he's brought them to
And
a level.
he brought another MVP to their
You know what
organization
I'm
too.
saying? He brought them out of basketball purgatory because they were potentially going to be there. I mean, they brought up how Lou Dort was one of their top scorers at one point,
Yeah, they
right?
sent him there to like his career to die. They
Yeah,
even sent Chris Paul over there.
Chris Paul was there, right? Al Horford was there. The
And
Thunder
didn't they go to the playoffs that year too?
they did, but they
yeah.
were in like ultimate no man's land. They were going to be stuck at that. We're never good enough to be a finals team, but we're never good enough
Wasn't
to
that
get.
the
It
Top pick. Yeah,
right after that season? That's when they drafted Chet, right?
was
And
like
then he got injured.
it was like 2 years after because Chet came in 22, Shea came in 2021, and or no, sorry, Shea
That's
came in
crazy.
2019
2022.
because he was traded for PG. Yeah, PG was on that team 2019, 2020. Yeah.
Oh,
And
you're
then
right. You're right. You're right.
J-Dub was in the same draft with Chet 22, so that was 22 as well. Yeah. And then everybody else has been the last
Wait,
few
you
years.
sure? Wasn't the
Hmm.
bubble like 2020?
It was.
yeah.
Wasn't Paul George on the Clippers already?
My Lakers got the
That's what
ring.
I'm saying. Yeah, because that was
Okay,
20
or
because the year started and then 2020 hit
because they was jacking the Clippers. Like they had him,
February, March,
Kawhi.
pandemic happened.
Yeah,
And
they had him, Kawhi. They was going crazy.
They
as we
moving through the league.
and right, another example of a decision made in haste. The Clippers literally mortgaged all of their future. And
Doc Rivers about to give him up.
at the time, it made sense. It wasn't seen as a crazy move because
Kawhi didn't want Shea.
Paul
Mm-mm.
George was coming off of an MVP caliber year. He
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi
was
said, "Bring him home."
Mm-hmm.
so that's
But
why I
Kawhi
say
too. He almost went
this
to your Lakers, Phil.
Kawhi
He
came
was
off.
pulling game, bro. He was pulling game. He's like, nah, I'm getting Paul George enemy next hour. I'm gonna play with Bron. He knew that he had the Clippers hostage at that point. And then, but then how did it work out for you, Clippers fans?
But
No
I
ring.
mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like he fake was him.
Sorry, my
Like
bad. My Lakers fan came
he
out.
got up
Go
out
ahead.
the Spurs on his own terms. Then they was like, "Oh
Yep.
yeah, we're not putting you in the West. We'll send you to somewhere you don't want to go. We send you to
Right.
Canada." He's like, "All right." Middle finger to them real quick.
Get the ring
Spun the,
bounce.
mind you, got his ring. Said,
Mm-hmm.
"All right, now I'm a free agent.
I
I'm
can go
going
where I
home.
want. Yep.
I got two
Yep.
rings." Yeah,
Got
so like, I mean, Clippers couldn't really say much. They were like, "All right, what you want? You look like you just go places and get rings, so we want that." And you know the Clippers, they a poverty like organization, so they anything
it.
that sound nice, they gonna take it.
Man, let me close this thing out, bro.
But
We
I
we done
saw
got a tangent.
Nah, but like, yo, I do love that wall they have in their Intuitive Dome. Like that thing looks like it's like a college atmosphere. I'm not gonna lie, I know I'll never be able to shoot a free throw there, but just imagining like trying to shoot one and like everybody's like right above you, like yelling down on you. Like KD even said it. He was like, "Nah, that's pretty
It's
cool, but
different.
like I miss one.
All
I
right.
don't usually miss."
All right, but hey, y'all, it's been a jam-packed episode. I want to thank y'all so much for coming on the show. Take a minute to shout out your platform, tell everybody where y'all from and where they can find you.
for sure. So y'all can follow me at Quan underscore solo, KWON underscore solo, the Black Han Solo. You know what it is. You
Sorry.
can also follow me, Chilling with Dylan 1229. That's my Instagram page connected to my podcast, Chilling with Dylan Sports Music Life Takes. I try to stay pretty consistent with content. I do interviews and I also do collaborations. So stay tuned, more on the way. And you're gonna see me on a lot of stuff with Phil and a lot of stuff with Tyrell, along with some other friends. So y'all stay tuned, tap in now, get on the train while it's hot, because they ain't gonna be here forever.
Nah,
Anyway,
word.
this the new
Tyrell
CBA.
Walker.
This is the new
Tyrell
CBA.
Walker coming out of Nyack, New York, Rockland County. If y'all don't know where that is, I'm 25 minutes outside the Bronx, 40 minutes outside of Harlem, 50 minutes outside of Brooklyn, but you get the jokes. I'm in the middle, and I'm 30 minutes from Jersey. But you can follow me on IG, No Limit Walk. The L in the walk is a one. And then my other page for my smoke is smoke.alert. That's usually how I do my program for basketball. Honestly, like you can see my motivation, you can see my training, you can see my drills, you can see post like game highlights, but you're gonna really just see a lot of like me on my pages. Like I really post a lot of motivational stuff, so stay tuned with me. And like Dylan said, like jump on the train while it's hot. Like we about to take off. Honestly, we got a lot more things in store for you guys. We're gonna start doing some clip ups. We're gonna start adding some video content in here. So yeah, we about to get moving in here. And shout out to Phil for putting this together. Like, and shout out to StreamYard.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. Well, with that said, this is your host of the Wilson, host of Wilson Way Sports Talk. And you know what they always say, everybody talks, but not everybody has something to say. With that, we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Good night.
Chilling.